everybody, and welcome to another video. Today we are here talking about Monster Hunter World, a similar type of video to my videos called What Arc Needs. So today we are talking about a few things that I think would be cool in Monster Hunter. A couple of them involving Iceborne, but some of them not. You know, we're going to be talking about a crossover, seasonal changes, and some new egg raid mechanics. So let's get right into the video once the game loads, because, well, I need the game to load. Load! Okay, let's just get into number one, egg raid upgrade. So, with the egg raids, I want an upgrade so that once you go into the map, there's a 50-minute timer just like on a quest, except for it works on Expedition too, where within 50 minutes, the monster eggs will hatch. Of course, in a quest, it's 30 minutes until they hatch. So on an Expedition, you can go around hunting monsters for 50 minutes until eventually you're like, you know what, for like 48 minutes, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go do an egg raid. So you grab a Rathalos egg and start running down. All of a sudden, crack, crack, the egg starts cracking. And then you'll just see a baby Rathalos's beady blue eye staring up at your hunter, and then it pokes its head and wings and tail out of the egg and then pounces on your hunter, doing its own special ping animation. And when Rathian comes to try and kill you, she won't. She'll just watch her son cheering him on as he tears you apart. And that'd be really, really cool in my mind. It'd be a cool mechanic. And eventually, after you faint, the baby will slowly grow up and get more and more powerful. If you don't steal the eggs, then there's just going to be babies that walk out of the nest. And will count as small monsters. They'll count as small monsters. But actually, no, they won't slowly get more powerful, because otherwise they won't be able to fit on the map as large monsters. So, they're gonna be small monsters, and yes, I have worked this theory through, but I just came up with the small monster idea. So yeah, they're gonna be small monsters until eventually they're almost large monster size. You'll see them, Rathian and Rathalos, hanging out quite a bit, teaching their children how to hunt and stuff, and once their babies get their first successful kill, they'll wave their baby off with their head, and the baby will fly away, and they'll say, Baby Rathalos, or Baby Rathian has left the locale. And that would be just really cool, in my mind. And moving on to and also, if you bring the egg, but if you make the eggs go back to the item box before they hatch, then you'll have your own little pet Baby Rathalos that you can use to kind of upgrade your Palico. It'll be kind of like one of the tail raiders for number one, it never leaves you, so it'll always be following you, and it'll literally just be a Rathalos, and you can also ride it by hitting the same button that you use to interact with characters on a quest. You can use that to ride the Rathalos or Rathian, depending on which one you get and which one you select. And there would also, let me just head over to my room, there would be a new area in your room as well, specified for said Rathalos or Rathian. And you can only keep these babies if you are G rank. So it would be in the G rank room with Iceborne, and it'd have a little stall so that you can find. And once you get G rank, then the egg raid to add hatchable babies. So and then that unlocks you the pet Rathaloses and stuff like that. Of course, you can also get like pet Apsaros, but nobody wants a pet Apsaros. So yeah, it'll be able to wander your room in kind of like a stable, so that you can have yourself a pet Rathalos. And it'll be pretty cool. And that will also be a better reason to use the G rank room, because it'll give you the stall to put your Rathalos in. Now, moving on to number 2, the How to Train Your Dragon crossover. In my mind, I think it'd be pretty cool. So, what I was thinking here, guys, is that crossover number 1 would come with Iceborne. And yes, I'm saying number 1 because I want there to be a second crossover if they ever add an aquatic DLC. And And crossover number 1 would involve an insect glaive set and a reskin and a remodel and a remodel behemoth with some ice attacks, reskinned to be the Bewilder Beast from How to Train a Dragon. And the insect glaive set would of course be Valka, Hiccup's mom, which would be really cool. It would be probably better than Drachen, and the Bewilder Beast would be more powerful than the behemoth, which would just make it all the more cool. Either that, or it could be kind of a Zora Magdaros mechanic that you can get the Valka armor from, which would be even cooler if it was like a Zora Magdaros type mechanic. And if it was a behemoth or a Zora Magdaros, they would both take place somewhere in Iceborne, which again would be pretty awesome in my mind. So yeah, that might be very, very cool to add into Iceborne as a crossover if Monster Hunter can get the license. Now, moving on to number 3, seasonal changes. And these affect certain blights from monsters and certain elemental attacks from both you and monsters. For example, winter would make fire blights that just winter would completely disable fire blight and lower the fire damage by like 20%. From both you and monsters. Autumn would lower it by 10% and make it and decrease the effectiveness of fire blight so that your health drains slower and stuff like that. And in the Elder's Recess, the seasons won't really affect it unless it's summer. So yeah, anyway, in spring it will be how the game is currently, just everything normal. And then in summer, fire attacks have increased power and ice attacks have decreased power. And in the winter, ice attacks have increased power as well. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, it debuffs and buffs certain elements during certain seasons, which just really sounds like a good idea in my mind. So if you go right here, you know how when you eat, you'll see a little canteen symbol where, well, if they made that little seasonal DLC or update, it would also add seasonal buffs, which would kind of be a weird looking S. You know, kind of in the same type of writing how they write in Monster Hunter, but as an S. And it would be pretty nice because you'd get a seasonal buff to your elemental damage. And that would be really, really nice. It would also give you a seasonal buff to your elemental resistance. Because in the winter, actually wait, no, right, it wouldn't increase your elemental resistance. It would just decrease the power of an element. Which means that, like, it would be really hard to hunt a great Jagras in the winter because it would lower your fire damage. Stuff like that would be really, really awesome. And yeah, that is my entire little theory, and I'm carrying around a Charge Blade because I was just testing it out. I still use Devil Joe, so yeah. Hopefully you guys look forward to the next episode of Big Game Hunter, which I'm going to try to make today if Lucky Shooter gets on, with my rocket-powered greatsword. So yeah, hopefully you guys are looking forward to that, but yeah. Those are 3 things that I want to add to Monster Hunter World that all sound very good. And most of them, actually no, all of them involving the Iceborne DLC. The only one that doesn't involve it is the seasonal thing. So yeah, I'm hoping that we could get to that seasonal thing, we can get to G rank, we can add that crossover, we can get the baby Rathaloses and Rathians. It'll be awesome. And of course when you tame the baby Rathaloses and Rathians, they start out as like a normal small monster size and damage, having 1/4 the health, 1/4 the damage, and and all that stuff. So and also 1/4 of the size, the babies. And then as your tamed ones grow and as the natural ones grow and their parents teach them more, the actual baby small monsters will pretty much reach the size of like a Puke or Great Jagras before the parents are like, okay, you gotta leave now. Which would actually be pretty awesome. So your baby ones will also grow at that rate. So they'll slowly become more powerful until they're Great Jagras size. And then they're not like a small monster. Then they're actually more like a large monster for your cat and you to be able to ride. until they're fully grown and they're at the full strength and power of a normal Rathalos. And also, I really hope they add Silver Rathalos and Gold Rathian into G rank. Man, those guys are really cool. Even though I've never fought them before because this is my first Monster Hunter game. But yeah, hopefully you all have enjoyed this lovely video. I hope you've been having fun. And I'll see you all later.